So Bob Collins is our first presenter, and he'll introduce his topic.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Good. Everybody's excited to learn about bees and what all they can do and how to get started. If you told me 3 years ago, just 3 years ago, that I would be a beekeeper, have a business for it, get into bees, and be actually wanting to get into a hive, I would have said you're crazy. I've stayed away from bees, like most people do. But then I started looking into it, watched a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of excellent people out there, and I can tell you about some of them, refer you to them. But got into it, and mainly got into it last year, about May of 2020, looking for something to do, something that didn't require going out, going with people. And, our pastor here, LaRue Stevens, he's a master beekeeper, lives right down the road from me. So I started talking to him. I got some bees, and now we had started a bee yard with 10 hives. Lost a lot of them due to floods and the storm, but we're still going. We're going to catch some more swarms this year and start going again. But anyway, I've recently become a certified apprentice beekeeper through the University of Florida. I'm going to continue on into that program to hopefully maybe one day get up to master craftsman beekeeper. But I got a long way to go. But anyway, topic today is, well, if it'll go. Well, now it's not going. Anyway, Matthew, can you help? Thanks. So, topic is why keep bees? Okay, reasons to keep bees. I'm sure you have a lot of the same reasons I do. They are, see if I can get this going again. There it goes. Why you're some reasons, it's fascinating to learn about them. Bees are very interesting. They are the perfect society. Their workers work for the hive. They don't work for each other, for themselves. They work for the betterment of the hive. And they live and they die by that. You can make money from selling honey, from selling different products of a hive. I've got up here some pollen. I've got propolis, which is bee glue that they make to seal their hive. That's worth a lot of money. You can sell these products and make money with it. But if you're just interested in learning about keeping bees for the environment, that's great too. But bees do a lot. You can support the declining pollinators because of pesticides and things like that. Bees are susceptible to that. So by keeping bees, you're helping bring up the colonies and keep them more. It helps the environment. Bees are pollinators. You can see some pollinators over on the list that a lot of our food is pollinated. And can't get pollinated any other way except by bees, butterflies, things like that. You can also teach your children about bees, because if you grow up as a child learning about bees, learning what they are, that they're not bad, they won't hurt you unless you try to hurt them, you have better respect for it and can grow up like that. I just learned when I was a kid, bees will sting you, stay away from them. So, and now I go hand first into a hive. May be crazy. So, regardless of your reason for doing this, we are here to beekeep with you. We've heard calling some beekeepers beaks. It's a short word for it. So we're here to be partners, to be mentors, and to help however we can. So there's a lot to learn about bees. About 4,000 bees together weigh a pound. They're very light. You can get a measuring cup, a 1 cup of them, and that's about 300 bees. They're very small and takes a lot to make them. One bee, during its lifetime, from the time it is able to start going out and foraging on it, makes about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey. And that's about how much I have in this jar. From birth to death, that's how much honey a bee makes. And it takes, to make 72 teaspoons, which is this 1 pound jar of honey, would take about 864 bees to fill that up in their lifetime of what they can collect. So you think of it, bringing honey in, bringing nectar in, they are, but it takes a lot. And so that kind of gives you an idea. One thing about bees have sexes. They have male and female. The males are called drones. They don't have stingers. They can't sting you, but they go in other hives, and they aren't questioned why. The guard bees just let them in. Queens, now the females all do all the work. They do all the work in the hive. everything. They go out, they get the honey, or sorry, they get the nectar, they get the pollen, and they bring it in, and they do all the work. Drones don't. Their one purpose is to go out and find virgin queens and mate with them, and they die in that process. So they don't think the worker surveyor of a queen is the only one that can lay eggs. Unless something extraordinary happens, the only one laying eggs in a hive is the queen. So, and she can also decide, at the time she lays an egg, she can decide if that egg is going to turn into a male or a female. If she, I believe, fertilizes the egg, it becomes a female. If she doesn't, male. And there are way more females in a hive than there are males. So that's the queen decides based on what they need, and she makes the decision. The bees help her make that decision. So the products of a hive, like I said, you get honey. Annually, about 157 million pounds of honey is made in the United States. The average U.S. hive produces about 60 pounds. So, and that's a fair amount. You can get, like I said, you can get wax, and I have samples of my wax up here in some of our products we do. Like I said, this is just wax taken from our hive, melted down, refined, and we can make whatever we want with it. Smells nice too, always smells like honey. So you can make wax, you make candles, beauty products. There's other commercial industrial uses for wax. This presentation hive I have, it was made for us by a person in Serbia. He's polished it with beeswax. So you can polish it. You can make, it's similar with this, my wife has made a cutting board conditioner. You can use to condition your wooden cutting boards. So beeswax is very useful. Propolis, which is, I have a little bit in this jar up here. It's stuff bees bring in. Besides bringing in pollen, they also bring in sap and rosins from trees and plants. And they will make that into what's essentially a bee glue. It's antibacterial, antimicrobial, very sterile. They use it to seal up all the cracks in the hive and to keep the temperature regulated and the wind out. When one of my daughters had a spot on her back, it was like a mole, it was acting weird, went to a doctor and they said, we're going to prescribe you this stuff to put on, it'll take care of it, it's made by bees. And this is actually the jar. It actually has propolis. It's a tincture. You put it in, you can grind it up, put it in vodka or alcohol and make a tincture out of it. So it's very, and it helped, it went away. I mean, so this is very good stuff. Bees are also very useful. They are a product of the hive. People raise and sell queens. You have to catch them at the right time, get the right egg, and you can raise and sell queens. Queens go for about $25 to $30 a queen. If your queen dies or whatever, you need to requeen a hive, you send up as a person in Loosedale that will do them. And I think LaRue here is getting into selling queens. Nukes. A nuke is our term for a nucleus, which, as you can imagine, nucleus is the center part of anything. Basically, a nuke is like this. It's 5 frames inside a container. Sometimes they're cardboard, sometimes they're corrugated plastic, sometimes they're heavy-duty plastic like this. When you go to buy your first hive, you will get a nuke. It's the center 5 frames, which is the entire, mostly the entire brood nest of a hive. The rest of the frames on the other side have honey, pollen, but the inside is where all the brood, the baby bees, the larvae, the honey, the capped brood ready to merge into bees is into a nuke. And nukes can go for $125, $150, depending on where you get them. So that's the center part of your hive. You get those, and some people raise up bees to make nukes and sell, and do really good with it. You can sell bees by the pound. Another way to get bees is in a called package. They're in like a wooden and hardware cloth encased box. There's 3 pounds of honey. 3 pounds of bees in there, and that's a few thousand bees. That's how you can also start a colony. Those, you get a queen and you put in there, you put with them inside your hive, and that's how you do it. So you can sell bees by the pound. A way is selling entire colonies. A colony is a group of bees inside a hive. So a hive and a colony are different. A hive houses a colony, but we talk about hives a lot, so that's what we mean to bees. So you get colonies. So there are a lot of bee products from a hive, ways you can make money, or you can just raise bees and be with them, be happy with them. Be happy. Every time I hear the word bee now, it has 2 E's. for the rest of my life, it will have two E's. I just can't help that. It's just part of it now. Honey production in the United States, out of 2.8 million colonies, 150 million pounds of honey is generated annually. The highest producing states are California, Dakota, Montana, and North Dakota. Mississippi has average of 105 pounds of honey per hive. So there is an industry down here for honey. There's one, Ellisville, somewhere around Wiggins, up there. They raise Russian bees, and they sell the honey. They sell the honey to this drink company that makes a drink, a tea with honey in it, and they're doing well out of a different breed of bees. Sorry, my bees just picked up in volume. I can hear them. Anytime I hear a different volume of bees, you got to kind of watch out. You'll learn how to read the mood of a hive. It's really cool. You're getting in there, they're humming along. If the pitch changes or something, start paying attention. Again, with honey production, wholesale prices are $2 to $2.50 a pound. That's wholesale. Retail to the consumer, $3 to $10 per pound. I'll tell you personally, our first year of doing honey, we had our first year this past year. You sell 1 pound of honey is 12 ounces. Honey is heavier than water. You sell that for $12, and people buy it because it's local, it's unfiltered, and it's real local honey. And people like local. It's reportedly good for allergies and everything like that, so it's really good. But anyway, like I said, honey is an important part. Another part of raising bees and why bees is increasing the bee population. Like I said, bees aren't flourishing as much as they used to because of pesticides, fungicides, monocultures, mites. The mites down here are called Varroa destructor. When you have the name destructor in your name, it's you know it's going to be bad. They don't kill hives; they take advantage of weak hives, and they'll bring in viruses and everything like that, where they do kill hives eventually through viruses and everything, and disease, which is disease caused by mites. So, good thing is, there just recently came out Friday. They discovered a fungus that will destroy Varroa mites from the inside out. It doesn't hurt bees. The only problem was they couldn't keep up. They couldn't endure the hot temperatures down here. A hive inside is 95 degrees to begin with, but down here it's too hot. They've fixed that. They've bred the fungus, fixed it to where it can withstand high temperatures, and it might be our solution to the Varroa mite, which I hope. The upside is we get more beekeepers. You know, bees are going down. People want to help get more beekeepers. The number of hives goes down each year in the country, but is a net up because people split hives. You take a hive, split it in two, get a new queen. You've doubled your bees. So you can do that and increase your bees. And methods of beekeeping are always improving. I've got a book over here. You know, it's one of the major books. And my wife for Christmas got me a flash drive of bees and beekeeping books from 1850 to the 20th century. Antique books that show, you know, it's just fascinating what they thought bees did and how they thought they operated. But it shows methods are improving every year. People will improve on things. So it's always something new to learn. You never stop learning. And it's just an interesting topic to do. There's also something else bees can do, provide pollination services. I've heard 20 to 30% of all of our food crops require pollination by pollinators. The ones that do need pollination are pollinated by the wind. That's your grains, your corns, are wind pollinated. They don't need bees. But 20 to 30% of the food we eat is pollinated by bees. Like I said, in 2012, the average value of pollinated crops is $29 billion. 2.7 million bee colonies in the United States, 60% travel the country. Particularly the California almond industry is heavily relied on bees. Beekeepers in the north and south, they'll load up their bees on flatbed 18-wheeler trucks. They will haul them to California, put them out there for a few weeks to pollinate the almond trees. When they're done, they'll pick them up, move them to Utah for another crop. Sometimes, if you're lucky, on I-10, between Canal and 28th Street, the exits, there's a slab north of the interstate. There's empty land there. It's just concrete slabs. If you drive by at the right time, you'll see beehives out there. The local beekeepers are gathering together their hives, put them together, and we've driven out there and just parked and let all the bees fly around us. It's pretty cool. And at night, they'll load them up when the bees are in the hives and not coming out. Load them on a truck, put big nets over them, and drive them west. Actually, one of the beekeepers, his dad, they come to this club, Randy McCaffrey. His name is 628 Dirt Rooster on YouTube. Look him up. It's really cool. He went with a group of pollinators out to California this past year. Got stuck in a snowstorm for 3 days on the interstate. Then he put videos on his YouTube channel all about it. So very interesting to learn about. But anyway, that's how the California almond industry survives. Other industries by bringing bees in. So anyway, I believe that's the last one I got. Nope, almost. The California almond orchard, 80% of the global supply of almonds comes from California. And bees are very integral to that. 70% of that sold overseas. 1.6 million colonies of bees are used on 800,000 acres of almonds. So it is, bees are vital just to that industry and to others throughout the country. Okay, that's the last one. I'm almost out of my time. But I want to leave you with one thing, how important bees are. Most everybody likes hamburgers. I like a good hamburger, you can tell that. I love a good burger. Sandwiches are great, I love a good burger. So let's take your average burger, or let's take say it's like a Whopper, one that comes with lettuce, tomato, everything on it. Okay, to show you how important bees are, let's expand that. That's the different layers. If you take bees out of the equation, just on hamburgers, a loaded hamburger, you take away the lettuce. The lettuce is pollinated by bees. No bees, no lettuce. Pickles, cucumbers, pollinated by bees. Don't have that. Onions are pollinated by bees. You get rid of onions. Tomatoes are pollinated by bees. No bees, no tomatoes. Mustard, the mustard plant, pollinated by bees. No mustard. Ketchup, same thing. Tomatoes, no, oops, that. Hold on. Sorry. How'd that go? Fast. Anyway, so ketchup gone. Cheese is a dairy product, but comes from cows. Cows, the way they are fed, comes from plants that are pollinated by bees. So no dairy. So therefore, also, if you don't have bees, you don't have cows because you don't have the food to feed them. No meat. So you've got a bun. But there's one more thing. You can't say there's a sesame seed bun, right? Guess what? Sesame seeds come from plants that are pollinated by bees. All you're left with, 2 pieces of bread. So I know it seems kind of dark and doomsday-ish, but without bees, we wouldn't have that. We wouldn't have a burger, and I love a good burger. So that's why I raise bees, so I can have a burger. But also, I like the honey. It's sweet, and it makes friends. Got a neighbor? Take some honey to them. Especially if you have bees in your backyard and you want to kind of tell them nothing's going to happen to them. You agree every once in a while you pay them off with a jar of honey. Matthew, our minister of music here, he's helping with the camera and the stuff, and to tell him how much we appreciate him, we gave him a container of creamed honey, taken from our bees. So we can pay people. It's barter system, right, Matthew? All right. So anyway, but that's my time. Are there any questions? Yeah.
Your queen dies, so you get another one. How will the bees recognize it?
Good question. The question is, if your queen dies, which can happen, she can die, or accidentally she can be killed by bees. When you go in a hive, you're going to kill some bees. You try not to, but you're going to kill some. Sometimes the queen gets it. You order a queen, or if you raise one, you get a queen. You put her in a little queen cage. There's a certain little device called a queen cage. It has a stopper that's made out of sugar and water. Sugar water is candy. And you put it in there, and you put her in there, and that takes about 3 days for the bees to eat that candy to where she can come out. By that time, they have gotten used to her pheromones. Bees communicate with pheromones, smell. And they have adapted to her. Hey, she's our queen. She's great. They eat it out. She comes out. They're happy most of the time. These bees that we took out this morning, about 10, 15. Within a few minutes, they realized they didn't have a queen. They're not happy, but they're calm because we keep them dark. But they recognize without that smell this queen generates from her mandibles, it's queen mandibular pheromone, QMP. Without that, as soon as the other bees, her attendants that are around her touch that, and they get it on them. They move around, they touch other bees, so the bees know there's a queen. But when that disappears, they know it within a few minutes. And I can hear the pitch just change. They'll switch to emergency mode if they see, and you'll see on this frame in here, as long as there's a larva that's like 2 to 3 days old, we're talking about larva, little bitty, just hatched from the egg. As soon as they know they're not, they'll start building a bigger cell with wax around it called a queen cup. And actually on this frame in here are 2 queen cups. They're old, but there's no queen. Sometimes they build them just to practice, just to get into the practice of it. But they will build that and try and start feeding that egg and that larva royal jelly. If they feed it the regular food, it becomes a worker. If they feed it royal jelly, it suppresses a hormone or I forget it, a DNA, or it suppresses something within the bee itself and makes her a queen. So yeah, so all females have the ability to be a queen within the 1 or 2 days after becoming a larva. So, oh yeah, bees, that's great. Bees are awesome out of a young one. So that's it. I mean, I could stand here and talk all day, my time, but I'd love to. But we have other people that are just as interesting, or if I am, and can talk to you. The next one is Sharon Gargulio.